look at the topics there on the screen, um, the title of my presentation is Profit is Not Always the Point, right? Basically, what I'm going to talk is really about, my perceptions towards business, profit, and how is that giving a negative impact to the society and environment. What I'm going to share with you today is really coming from my understanding and my perception, right? So I'll begin with telling you about my personal story. In my family, my mother, my uncle, I have two of my uncles, they own a business, right? And my mom is a legend. She teach me how to manage business, how to make sure profitable business. So in that sense, profit does matters, right? And I'm currently a dean of business school. In JSB, what we call is Graduate Business School, we offer MBA, we also DBA. MBA is Masters in Business Administration. So basically, the learning outcome of our program is to teach managers manage business, right? So we teach them how to make revenue, do proper marketing. We teach them how to operate efficiently, effectively through our operation management courses. And we teach accounting. We teach human resource. So these are all basically to help them manage companies and manage their KPI. Myself, I teach accounting. So in my class, I teach my students how to identify the business transaction, related business transaction, measure them, then classify it, record properly, report. So we report our financial performance, and we also report our financial status or positions, or in other words, in accounting, we call it as balance sheet, and for financial performance, we call it profit and loss. Through my experience and observations and my understanding, I think that this accounting system, what is missing is that it measures those activities which can be measured monetarily. I'll give you examples. We are in the higher institution of learning. The capital or the biggest assets for university, for example, is really people, the people itself. It is very impossible to automate or get machine to do research, to teach, or to do counseling, things like that. So people is a key capital and asset for business or for certain organization. But in accounting, we fail to measure this. I'll give you another example, the negative one, the pollutions, stress that the organization gives to the staff, to the academic staff. So these are not accounted, right? So what is accounted is just things that can be measured, the economy activities. So in short, we call it economy activities. If you remember the concept of sustainable development, which is our university vision, is really being what they call this, the thrust of university sustainable development. There are three big circles: the economic, social, and environment. So you will find that business is really is very economic centric, right? And you will find that this what they call this, the relationship to the impact to the society and to the environment is not really being counted. So I just want to put you or give you a different perspective. Why not you just sit down and I'll present to you. This is one of the David Packard is actually one of the founder for the Hewlett Packard. So he gave a different perspective of the function of business. I think many people assume wrongly that a company exists simply to make profit. While this is an important result of a company existence, we have to go deeper and find the real reasons for our being. As we investigate this, we inevitably come to the conclusion that a group of people get together with a company and exist to make contribution to society, a phrase which sounds trite but is fundamental. To relate to this statement also, there is an opposite statement by one of the economic Nobel laureate, Milton Friedman, by the name of Milton Friedman. Professor Milton Friedman says that the only responsibility of the companies is to make maximum profit. From this profit then, the government will collect tax, right? And then from the tax collection, the government then will take care the welfare of the society. So this is where the society circle, the social aspect, should be taken care by the government. But as you observe, what is happening now, it is not really happening. Inequality is still happening. There is no inclusiveness. So there's still problems in this. So the trickle-down effect of this profit which should reach to the society is not really happening. So, then if you look at the statistic here, this is to show you how rapid the economic activities is happening in the past 10 years or so, right? So, which means profit is important, but if it is too centric, or is given too much of emphasis, and you will find that because of the things that cannot be measured monetarily, relating to the social aspect and environmental aspect, the growth of the economy is basically in the expense of society and the environment. For that, I give you the evidence here with the previous slide, which showing you the active the economic activities is happening very good, but still people are suffer. Humans are still deprived. You see that people living less than 1.25 US dollar is increasing to 1,200 millions. People with access to the safe drinking water. So, if business is good, if profit just matters, but why people still deprive? Why humans still deprive? And with this problem, at this current state, and with this projection of the world population, those problems that I presented to you in the previous slide, it will double up or it will be triple. Then imagine a world that your son and your grandchildren will be living in. So this is because of the mentality of, profit maximization. Now, my area of research is CSR. People always wrongly interpret that CSR is just about giving donation, giving mock check, blood donation, gotong royong, things like that. It is actually more than that. To simplify, let me just give you my understanding about CSR. CSR is about making profit, but not in the expense of society and the environment. So that's very simple. So whenever you do business, of course, the main objective is to make as much profit as possible, but not in the expense of the society, not in the expense of the environment. But through my research activities, I discovered one thing, which they call it social business. A business which the objective is not to make profit. The objective is actually to solve human problems. So they call it social business. So let me just introduce you social business. So I went to Dhaka to meet Professor Muhammad Yunus. He is the father of this social business. And he defines social business is a selfless business, not for the individual self-interest. is a non-dividend company that solves human problems. When I study and I read and I do some literature review, I try to understand what is this social business. And I get to the conclusion is that a social business is just like a business, but the main objective is to solve social problem. So they have a social cause as the main objective. So they still have to do business, transactions, sell products, offer services, make sure you control your expenses, make sure you get your revenue, collect debts, everything similar. But the profit goes to the social cause. That's my understanding. So these are the 7 principles of the social business. I think the first one is very important. Business objective will be to overcome poverty. So that's what I mean by replacing profit for individual to the social cause. And then, of course, the financial economic sustainability is there, and the investors will not get the dividends. They can actually collect back the capital invested for that business. And then gender sensitive, Prof. Miza talked about gender. So the company of the social business must be gender sensitive, environmentally conscious, and all this market wage, that better working condition, and do it with joy. These are some examples of the social business in Bangladesh. So if you look at the Gramin Shakti is actually a business to solve energy problem in the rural area in Bangladesh. So they actually came out with this renewable energy, and they managed to sold it at 1 million plus units sold. So I just want to show with you, I just have 2 more minutes, a short video clip which actually produced by the Magic. Magic is actually our Malaysian social business advocator, which is sponsored by the government. And in this short video clip, you will find young social entrepreneur, which is really, a new breed of entrepreneur, which is really doing business, but at the same time solve the human problems.
We work with women in low-income housing areas. We provide training and seamstress skills for them. And then once they reach an attainable level, we provide income opportunities for them to work with us.
What we want to do is make sure Songket exists beyond this generation.
Heart Treasures is giving opportunity to our angels with the learning disabilities to live a normal life, at the same time train them to become artisan.
Daripada pengalaman saya melancong ke luar negara, saya nampak banyak potensi yang boleh dibangunkan di kawasan Bobujang ni. Jadi saya nampak ekotourism ni adalah salah satu solusi untuk membangunkan balik kawasan ni.
We pledge to give 100% of our dividends to charities. Hence, people using our products can support charities from the comforts of their homes.
And for the past 3 years, our trainees have impacted more than 10,000 Malaysians through their stories of how they overcome their own darkness.
What we're known for is for turning waste into consumer product. We are trying to counter this consumer-driven society that we live in.
When we brought in these marginalized adults to train with us, I can see a drastic change between when they first came, their confidence levels, how they speak, and then by the time they left us, a total change in character, and I think that's makes me smile.
இந்த மேஜிக் ஆம்பிளிஃபை அவார்ட் மூலியமா எங்களால் பல பேருக்கு, குறிப்பாக தனித்து வாழும் தாய்மார்களுக்கும் இங்கே வசிக்கிற ஆளுங்களுக்கும் உதவி செய்ய முடியும். அவங்க வாழ்க்கை தரத்தை உயர்த்துறதுக்கும் அவங்க வருமானத்தை பெருக்கிறதுக்கும் எங்களால் செய்ய முடியும்.
With Magic Amplify Awards, we'll be able to scale our business by providing more training, employing more women, and eventually touching more lives.
So that's all my presentation. So I'll end up with this. We prepare our students for jobs and careers, but we don't teach them to think as individuals about what kind of world they would create. Thank you very much.